Would you label yourself as a master procrastinator? Ever since 2020 came along, there's been a bit of a productivity craze in the online community.
We're talking about how to build a productivity system.
I'm sharing my top 5 productivity tips for work.
I've developed a very good strategy of being very, very productive.
I love watching all these videos, which is probably not very productive of me. But I've started to realize that some of these videos are focusing on a level of productivity that's so high, it's basically unachievable and maybe even unhealthy for the average person. Like, look at this one, 98% productive. I just made a video where I time tracked for 30 days and I was like 70% productive at best. So today I'm breaking down a guide on how a normal person like you can achieve what science considers to be the optimal amount of productivity. Okay, so first we need to define what productivity actually is. Alex Hormozi is a ridiculously successful entrepreneur who defines productivity better than I ever could.
We have to define what productivity even means. Productivity is getting more done per unit of time. People who move faster in life don't actually move faster. They get more done per unit of time.
So if productivity is getting more done per unit of time, then that implies that at a basic level, productivity is just a 3-step process. We need to determine A, how much time to spend, B, where to allocate our time, and C, how we can maximize the efficiency of the time that we're using. Let's start with A. In a study conducted by Cassie Holmes and her colleagues, they determined that around 2 to 5 hours of daily free time is optimal for maximizing happiness. Any less free time causes stress as a result of people feeling too busy and unable to complete everything they want in their day. But getting over 5 hours of free time is also not great because it makes us feel unproductive and can weaken our sense of purpose. So we have our approximate range of 2 to 5 hours of free time every single day. Okay, now we're on to step B, which is allocating our time. Now I promise you the best way you can spend your time right now is by subscribing to my YouTube channel. Okay, I hated that. But basically, I'm trying to catch this old YouTube channel that I made back in high school. I'm about 130 subscribers short right now. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing when you get the chance to support me on my journey to beat my younger self, that would be awesome. Okay, back to the video. Before we can allocate our time appropriately, we first need to determine our values. I can't stress this enough, productivity is not just about working more. It's about optimizing your life for the outcomes that you value most. Using our productivity equation from before from Alex, we know that our primary input is time, but this is useless information unless we know what we want our outcomes to be. So take a few minutes and really think about what 3 or 4 areas of your life you value the highest and deem the best use of your time. These values are going to be completely different from person to person, and that is completely okay. For example, my primary values right now are building my relationships, growing my faith because I'm a Christian, growing my YouTube channel, and maintaining my GPA in university. I can't tell you what your values are, but until you've labeled them yourself, we can't design a life that's optimizing for outcomes if we don't know what they are. So please pause the video here, take a few minutes, and write down what 3 or 4 outcomes you value the most right now. Okay, so you have your values. What now? We have to fill our days with activities that contribute to at least one of these values outside of our few hours of free time that we're protecting. Ali Abdaal is a doctor-turned YouTuber that I admire a lot, and I love the way how he explains how we can start actually implementing these valuable activities without falling to procrastination.
Is think of yourself as a system, not as a human. Try and design a system that makes it way easier for you to do the thing and not procrastinate from it, rather than thinking that you just need to try harder, you just need to be more disciplined.
Rather than relying on our own will, which is probably pretty weak, we want to create accountability systems that can keep us on track. Now, there are 2 primary ways of doing this. 1, we can use schedules and other measuring tools to keep ourselves accountable, or 2, we can find an accountability partner. For example, if one of your values is your physical health, then you can ask a friend if you can simply text them once a week with the number of hours you spent at the gym. This is very, very little effort on your friend's end, but it can make all the difference in your life. Finally, we are on to step C, increasing the efficiency of our time. The easiest way for us to do this is to divide our lives into fixed activities and variable activities. A fixed activity is something that you can't generally do well or poorly. The value of the activity just comes from getting it done. A good example of this is going on a walk. It's really hard to increase the amount of fresh air or increase the amount of exercise we get from a walk without just making the walk longer. So to increase the productivity of fixed activities, we simply want to pair them up with other fixed activities. For example, we could invite a friend to go on a walk with us in the morning. That way we're still getting the output from the walk, but we also get value from the social connection. On the other hand, a variable activity is something that you can do particularly well or badly without changing the amount of time it takes. The best example of this is studying for an exam, because anyone in school knows that we can make some impressively unproductive study hours. Our best bet to increase the productivity of variable activities is to actually flip-flop between different variable activities every 45 minutes to 1 hour. Our brains tend to become less focused on a task the longer we spend on it, but re-stimulate our brains by starting to focus on something new. But be sure not to flip-flop too quickly, because this can lead to task switching costs, which I actually made a video on recently if you want to go check it out. Okay, that's a simple process to increase your productivity. Now stop watching this video and go do good things.